On today's episode of On the Couch with Gavin and Chris, we talked to Sam from the Uticast about what the Uticast is and how it all started. Welcome back to On the Couch with Gavin and Chris. Today's guest is Sam from the Uticast.
Hi, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here. I'm very excited to join you folks.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for being here. This is awesome.
Yeah, welcome. It's a beautiful studio you have here. I'm loving this couch. It's sort of like my couch at home.
Uticast coffee mug there.
Yes, Uticast, new every Tuesday morning on iTunes, SoundCloud, and 315live.fm.
Awesome, perfect. So yeah, let's talk about what is Uticast.
Sure. Well, the Uticast is an extension of an old podcast that I did in New York City starting in 2010. For anyone, and one of the things I've noticed about doing a podcast in this region is that podcasting is not as ubiquitous here as it was in New York City. I spent 7 years in New York City, which I talk about ad nauseum on the podcast. So if you listen to the show, you already know this. Take a shot. But I'm a huge sports fan, even though I was horribly unathletic. So the idea was I had a friend in New York, this very, very talented gentleman named Dan Avasado, and his idea basically was to do a send-up of terrible sports shows, like Boomer in the Nude, or something like that. So he came up with this idea to do a pop culture sports show that was kind of goofy and didn't take things too seriously, and we would play full songs, like whatever music we were listening to of the week, we'd like cut to songs in between the segments. And I don't want to say it was ahead of its time because it was guys in a living room, but I did have, now if you go, there's a lot of funny sports podcasts now that are out there. I wish at the time I had known better how to promote this show. We were very underground, and we would send it out via email because I didn't want to put it on iTunes because I was afraid they were going to take it all off because I was using licensed music, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. I don't know if it ever really got the listener base that we had hoped it would, but I think a lot of that was just due to the fact we didn't know how to promote this item we had. Move forward to 2015, I'm moving back from New York City, and I worked myself into a business relationship with Made in Utica LLC, which is a company here in Utica you may have heard of. And I was looking for something to do specifically for Made in Utica that they didn't have yet. Justin Parkinson, who's the main man at Made in Utica, basically gave me an open book. He said, "What do you want to do? What do you think you could bring to the table?" And I said, at least to my knowledge, there is no podcast in this region that does a specific regional podcast that relates to this city and the outlying areas. If there is, I'm not aware of it. I've never, no one's brought it up to me. I haven't seen anybody who hates us that much yet. But it just seemed like an opportunity to bring a format of media that isn't totally acceptable here or ubiquitous here yet into a community and try and build some traction to it. And to be totally honest, I've been surprised by the lack of negative response.
That's awesome. That's great.
No, that's good.
You guys may know, it seems like in general, especially in today's society, the trolls come out first, right? Most, people are very quick to shoot something down. But I've been pleasantly surprised every day by the positive reaction we get from people, and that's very nice.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome.
So who is a part of Uticast?
Well, when I initially pitched the idea, I was going to be the producer and one of the hosts, but more of the moderator. The initial idea was Erin Higgins, who is our most regular third guest on the show. She was always the initial idea. I wanted to pitch this idea because I wanted to have a strong female voice, and she does have a really smart, funny, interesting voice that I could never possibly comprehend. I wanted.
Try, but it'd be weird.
It'd be very strange if I tried to do it.
A little awkward.
Yeah, but the entire time, the idea was for me to moderate for her and somebody else. And she was always in the plan, but we never found that third guy. I kept going through numerous people, a lot of close friends of mine who I thought maybe could do it. And I kept going back to my longtime best friend. I played in bands with him for years, Kevin Sullivan, who's the co-host of the show. He's on every week with me. I kept going back to the well with him with ideas so often, like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? That it surprised me how long it took me to go, why don't I just bring Kevin on the show?
Yeah.
And now, however many episodes we are in now, I don't even know if I could do the show without him now. His voice is, he has such a great podcasting voice. He's got a very deep, wonderful voice. And he overshadows my nerdy stuff, you know what I mean? So it's been really nice. I think one of the things that it's been a godsend to have him, because it's always easy for me to talk to him. It's coming up with an hour 15 worth of talking content a week is not easy, but with him we've been friends for so long that we could talk about almost anything for an hour and not even pay attention to it. We do it all the time when we're not recording. So,
So what kind of stuff do you guys talk about?
Well, a lot of topics. It's an interesting place. I don't like to go uber local. I'm not interested in, and this actually covers most of the Made in Utica stuff as well. We have a different theory for stuff we want to cover. We are not the news. We're not KTV or UTR. I am not going to cover car accident on Genesee Street. It's not that I don't care. I'm very sorry for those people, but I don't care to promote that story on a podcast. I would rather bring up something that's going on event-wise and have a debate about it. I know the downtown hospital has been a huge talking point on the show for the last 6 months. That's a big thing that people like to talk about. We try to steer away from politics, but especially in this election cycle and everything that's going on, it's hard to ignore them. So a lot of times what I'll try and do is I'll try and keep one segment as a news-oriented segment, topical stuff, weekly stuff, and then one segment is usually nonsense. The non-segment is what it's usually written down at the end, where we just talk about
Random
whatever
stuff.
is going on, music, TV, something more national that people can enjoy in a different way. But really, the crux of the show is the interview section. There's always one interview every week. Only once in the entire span of the show so far have we not had a guest, and that was in the end of the year wrap up in 2015, because it was New Year's Eve and people were not coming to the house to record a show on New Year's Eve. One of the great joys of this show, and the time we've done it, has been meeting all of these wonderful people who are doing great things for the region and the area. Guys like Tim Hardiman from Taylor and the Cook, guys like Doug and Jason at Bite Bakery, Samantha Colosimo Testa, who is the Common Council rep for North Utica, was on a few weeks ago to talk about downtown hospital. We've had Mayor Paul Mary. We have Anthony Brindisi coming on sooner. It's given me a really wonderful opportunity to learn the stories of all the hardworking people in this community who've made this resurgence in this area happen, who maybe don't get a light shined on the good work that they've done, which has been very gratifying, actually.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I feel like we can relate a little bit with that story.
Yeah, we want to shine a light on that kind of stuff. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing great work, and I appreciate you guys giving me time on your wonderful show to promote the stuff we're doing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
no problem.
thanks for coming. Yeah, so glad you're able to come and talk about the Uticast.
Yeah. I'm just going to do a quick shout out for all my Uticast.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a website. By the time you folks see this, I hope it will be up. We've teased it for like a month, and I'm just so lazy. I have not gone up to do bio work. That's all it is. I have to do work. But presumably by the time you see this, Uticast.com, you can always get it on iTunes, SoundCloud, and 315live.fm. And also for weekly video content, madeinutica.com. We're constantly doing work with them as well. So,
Thanks for watching this episode of On the Couch with Gavin and Chris with the Uticast, Sam. And so be sure to like the Facebook page to keep up to date with all the videos we're coming out with. And if you like this video, be sure to share it with all your friends so people can see what the Uticast is all about.
All right, so thank you for watching,
Thank you.
and we'll see you next time.
salud.
If you guys want to sponsor On the Couch with Gavin and Chris, send us a message on Facebook and learn how.